The ALGS is going through something I have never seen before. And I'm not saying it's never happened, but it definitely is a unique situation. Maybe this is the first time it's actually happened, but a team basically becoming no team at all after being top 8 in one of the regions as well. And what's going on, what happened, and what are the implications moving forward? So let's dive in and discuss what's happening in the ALGS scene right now and something you need to look out for in the coming weeks as well. So firstly, it started off with links are kind of coming out. 3 big league teams, Navi, Blacklist, and EXO. They're all poaching 3 players over the course of 2 weeks and now losing an entire Pro League spot, it seems. This is incredibly unfair. Come on, bro. This was the 8th team on the leaderboard as well. We're talking about Passion over inside of the EMEA scene. Now, 0-0 had came out to say Passion is dead. At the time, I just thought they meant like, okay, you know, Passion itself is running dry. People aren't, you know, having a good time anymore. But no, the team itself, Passion, of course, there's 2 inside of the EMEA region, Passion UA and Normal Passion. Well, Normal Passion was 8th place in the, leaderboards, but now it's actually done. The entire team is non-existent. And people are worried about this. You know, what a joke from EA. There's no way that this happened. 29 teams now in EMEA Pro League instead of 30. Caleb Womack, the Pro League manager and coach for Passion, came out to say the team that I joined was consisted of, and he lists off everybody involved. He lists off the characteristics. He lists off the, the offers going on, the player movements going on. Started off with Hinch going to Navi, and this was a week of turmoil and mixed feelings. We all cared deeply in each other's interests, but fully believed in making LAN together. When Hinch came to the conclusion that he's going to be joining Navi, the team supported him and wanted basically the best for him. JMW went to Blacklist. Now, this one was a surprise to me and all of us, and came to a bit of a surreal moment. JMW is a talented and caring individual. For the short time that we had together being a part of the family of Passion, we worked hard, laughed hard, and laid the path to make LAN as the new 3-man of Passion. And unfortunately, it sucks because they were on that track to do so. And as a team, when JMW broke the news to us, it was an incredibly emotional time. We knew that the situation, the same situation as before, yet we care about our team's progress. We all spoke and said to JMW that if you want to take that opportunity, we support you in the best way possible. Thus, the Mutual Passion team basically had to see him go to Blacklist. Then Fuda also goes to EXO. And as a team, we now had to use our roster changes to either make a decision to play with the staff or place our players with the best opportunities that we could. The old goat Jack basically made a valuable observation of Fuda and wanted to trial him, knowing that the team struggles were going on. And after a short discussion, we all had an agreement that as players, that if JMW would leave for Blacklist, then we would release Fuda to seek an offer and allow Zero to have that same opportunity. However, if JMW would stay, we would all reject the offers and just play with our team regardless. Again, as a team, we encourage to allow Fuda to have a stable home and organization, and they've all been kind of supportive of one another. Well, it did go through. 0-0 is in the process of a potential opportunity here as well. And all of this stuff comes down to when the decision was made by JMW to go to Blacklist, we all put immense passion into finding a stable home and opportunities for 0-0 to allow him to secure his home in Pro League and having the backing of an organization. So, in conclusion, who's Snake 2? What's the T? No, that he says. We as a team pursued our very goal from the beginning. That was to show passion while playing Apex at a high level of integrity. We're all supporting each other's growth no matter what, and basically making these movements as a family. May the players have the best of luck on their adventures, as we said to each other, except the occasional death box bang between OGs of Team Passion meant in lovable, wholesome manner. A team that had passion to achieve the best in each other. So very classy post, very well said by Caleb Womack. And honestly, it's one of those weird situations where it does suck. You have a top 8 team. I guess it was all mutual. I'm happy to see that there was some mutual agreements there. I still have a hard time believing that there isn't some sort of resentment, animosity, maybe not animosity, but feeling of like, well, crap, this sucks, you know what I mean? So Shazdi actually comes out and says, look, it's probably time for a competitive Apex. And I agree here wholeheartedly. We need a transfer window. EA's rules for ALGS and Roster Mania has been so non-robust. I mean, this thing really needs some good hard rules to kind of go by, because we're seeing teams manipulate the rule set. We even saw it last split, right? You see teams that sign new rosters, sign new people to play, and then they can't play with that roster because the rule says you have to play with 1 week. Then they play play that week on purpose with the other roster. Then all of a sudden, oh, we didn't plan this. We're just going to make a roster. No, okay. So people are going around the rules and they're purposely doing things to kind of avoid some of these rules. So I think it's about time we really do have like a portal, a transfer portal or a transfer window of when you're allowed to make these changes, because people are making too many changes too often. And now you have the unprofessionalism that EMEA is going to basically be lacking a team. And this is actually the team itself right now. You can see Passion has no players, 0 players on the roster. It actually is dead. It is over. And like I said, it sucks because look at them. They were on the path to actually go to LAN. This is literally just from this week. Not only were they in 8th place, well, look at this. They had only 3 games out of all the other teams, most of them having 4, like the top 1 and 3rd place, 4th place, all had 4 games. A lot of the teams under them, you know, number 9, number 10, number 11, 4 games. Aurora in 14th with 4 games. They were really seriously on track to go to LAN, and to see this team no longer there, that's what makes it, I guess, a little bit worse. I can understand if it's a team here at the bottom, they're making a change and, oh, they're not in Pro League anymore, right? Whatever. The number 8 team this happening to, it makes it a lot more understandable as to, you know, where the desires are. People really need wholeheartedly to be supported by organizations. And that is the passion, I guess, they were going for at the end of the day. And so it just sucks to see, because it's like, you know, if there were some proper rule sets, or maybe, you know, they were better taken care of, I guess, by something out there, this would have never happened. But it just kind of makes you feel like a lot of what should happen by nature of teams coming together, people liking each other and liking each other's play style, allows for less of that by nature. I met you. I think you're a good player. I want to team with you. Let's get together. We've committed. Now we're doing good. And, you know, these things should continue by nature. But because the esports scene is set up in the way that it is in ALGS, there's a lot of this, or you see teams that are just manipulating the rules, or, you know, they not manipulating, but I guess, you know, they're allowed to do things that maybe they shouldn't be allowed to do. At least that's where a lot of people sit with this. I don't blame any of the players taking a better opportunity for themselves. I absolutely would do the same. At the end of the day, you got to take care of yourself. That's just the name of the game. And all these teams are not really in the wrong either, because they're just trying to better their team and their opportunities for LAN and sponsorships and such. I just think that it does look kind of unprofessional to have, you know, now you're going to have to go through some of the lobbies where there's only 19 teams in it instead of 20. It just doesn't feel right, and it doesn't feel like a good solid esport that is solidified and esports ready with a rule set like that. Just my personal opinion. Of course, many may have other things to say about it as well. Now, also wanted to make mention 4-0-0. So Forbidden apparently is going to be picking up 0, and I hope that he finds himself in a good spot here. Sad to say goodbye to a real friend and good teammate. I wish you the best on your way. That's to Plexus. Now, Plexus obviously has had some drama in the past with their former teammate, and someone tried to snake them, and then they had to revert the decision and file a complaint, I guess, on their old captain, and it overturned the decision. So Plexus had his fair share of drama, I guess, in the Pro League scene, and I guess he's not always been dealt the best hand. So it's an unfortunate situation. The comments most definitely were not in favor. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's crazy. Snake and throwing up. So very interested to see where all of this stuff falls. Hopefully at the end of the day, all the members of Passion find themselves in a good spot that they're happy with, and things do go in their favor. Nonetheless, I think it does definitely sparks up a conversation as to what's going on, and also what rules should be changed, if any, if you guys agree. Interested to see your thoughts down below. Also had to make mention, this definitely shakes things up quite a bit, because we're about halfway through all of this Pro League, and you're starting to see teams that are really on course to make their LAN appearance in Split 2. Now, some of these teams from Split 1 have already guaranteed themselves a spot at Champs. However, despite guaranteeing themselves a spot at Champs, they might not actually make Split 2 playoffs, which feels so weird. So let's take a look at some of these teams that are in these weird predicaments. So firstly, starting it off, Reject Winity. Yes, they won the last LAN, and yes, they looked great in the last LAN. However, doesn't seem like that's going to be the case anymore. Currently, 5 out of the 8 teams that are currently qualified for Champs are at risk of not making it. Number 1 is Reject Winity, not having the best of time in Pro League. Also, Team Moist Esports getting 4th at the last LAN event, and unfortunately not looking so hot inside of North American Pro Pro League. Also, Cloud9, they had a weird moment where a lot of people were wondering if Cloud9 was a legit team. They show up at LAN and they look very good. So it seems like they're not necessarily the same team online as what they are on LAN. And of course, I guess there's obvious reasons for that. That's why people don't really like online competition, and LAN is more than likely to be favored. But Cloud9, also one of those teams struggling in their LAN qualifications as well. Team Aurora, we've just talked about as well. Those guys are having a hard time, and it's weird and definitely not normal, because not only did they look like a solid team at LAN, they were breaking records inside of Pro League as well, and to see them like now struggle, it's a bit of an odd one. And then also DSG, this has probably been the worst one for me. They're not only looking bad, they're looking really bad, like at the bottom of the leaderboard type bad, and I would just say at this point they're not going to make it. They're not making split 2 playoffs, but they have qualified for champs. So it's a weird predicament. It's a weird situation to be in. Hopefully these guys can figure themselves out. Also had to make mention of some Oversight Esports Scrim results. You did get some updates here. A big surprise 2 days ago with the Scrim blocks going on. Temper not only won, they're usually not winning, but also they kind of like destroy the competition. Temper was in first with 74, LG in second with 48, EC in third with 48, Falcons in 47 points in fourth place, Skidmark, Vanity, Liquid Alienware, Furia, Fluffy Aimers, and Stallions in the top 10. Also, you go into, this was last night's results as well. It was funny because you have Group B and C, but yet the first top 2 teams are both from Group A. So these are just people standing in here, but Falcons in first, SSG in second, Furia in third, Vanity in fourth, Liquid Alienware top 5, TSM in sixth, Cloud9 in seventh, Temper in eighth, Oblivion and Flat in the top 10 as well. And then finally, to end it off on the night, you had Not Moist in first place, Oxygen Esports in the second place position, LG in third, Team Falcons still in the top 5 in the fourth place, NRG in fifth, Skidmark, Yup, Fluffy Aimers, SSG, and CCE up in the top 10. Not a good day for the Tripods, are now known as Pioneers, in 20th place on this one. But of course, these are just Scrim results, and more Pro League action is to come. Very interested to see how all of this stuff unfolds, especially with EMEA now missing a team inside of their Pro League. What rules do you guys think need to be implemented into this to make it a more professional esports scene ready? I do think that the trade window or the roster update change window will still allow for roster mania in the sense that we like it and still see all of that stuff go on, but there needs to be a timeline, a date by it or something to prevent weird things from happening, I think. But interested to see if you guys agree. Maybe you totally disagree. At the end of the day, I'm all about making sure the players are taken care of. Right now, I don't think it's sustained at a level enough where you can maybe implement rules to keep people from doing this, because it just feels like you're locking people down when their value is going up so much, and they deserve to get proper compensation for whatever value that it is that they're bringing. So let me know what your thoughts are down below, and until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.